Good morning, everyone. This is Mike O'Malley here with the Hurricane Outlook and Discussion for May 18th, 2020, recorded around 9:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Well, Tropical Storm Arthur has begun to show signs of intensification over the past couple of hours, of pressure down to about 998 millibars according to the latest recon pass, and pressure and winds up to about 50 miles per hour at this point in time. The movement is off towards the north-northeast now at about 15 miles per hour, and will continue that trajectory throughout the day today, and then eventually make a more easterly turn and then a more southeasterly turn over the next coming days. A tropical storm warning does remain in effect for portions of the North Carolina Outer Banks throughout today and tonight as Arthur begins to pull away. The wind field is still pretty large at about 90 to 100 miles of tropical storm force winds expanding out. So, as you can see here, taking a look here at the visible satellite from COD Meteorology website, you can definitely tell that we have a much more defined central dense overcast across this area. Our center is actually located here, probably on the southern side of all of this banding and everything that's going on. But if we take a look here at the latest radar image, you do notice that Arthur is definitely well banded at this point in time, and we've seen considerable structure changes over the last hour or so, where we've gotten a more defined center of circulation. We've definitely had that happen. The pressures are beginning to deepen pretty significantly at this time. Well, not significantly, but decently at this point. You can definitely tell the spiraling band nature of this. There's also some really heavy rainfall going on up towards the north of the system through Virginia Beach and all the way down through Morehead City, North Carolina. There's certainly some very gusty winds here. You can see this one weather station is reporting gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So certainly some pretty gusty and breezy conditions across portions of the North Carolina Outer Banks today, up towards Nags Head, over towards Kitty Hawk, Point Harbor, those areas throughout there. Again, Arthur will be continuing to move away across this region over the next couple of hours. It is expected to make that more northeasterly turn and eventually make that easterly turn here over the next coming couple of days. So certainly something to monitor there. Again, the recon plane that was in there had found pressure of about 998 millibars and continuing to drop. If you take a look here, this is from the Central University of Wisconsin-Madison website. This is the 850 millibar vorticity, or spin in the atmosphere, at about 5,000 feet. The higher you go up on this product, the more cyclonic spin you're getting in the atmosphere, and you can definitely tell where our tropical storm is. That very nicely rounded system right there with our tropical storm there, and that's again going to be continuing to move off, generally away from the United States at this time. One thing that's going to be steering it is this cutoff flow and this upper level trough across this area. As that continues to eject off towards the east here over the next couple of days, that's going to continue to steer Tropical Storm Arthur away from land and should not allow much more land impacts at all. One of the things that's also going on is right now Arthur is in a pocket of relatively lower shear, but the shear is going to continue to increase with this troughing of low pressure that's coming in across the area, and that's going to really send off a wave that should allow the strengthening from tropical processes to halt over the next 12 to 24 hours, and the baroclinic processes will help take over the rest of the intensification and maintenance of this for the next coming days. Again, this is expected to weaken pretty rapidly once the tropical processes halt itself. And again, interest in Bermuda need to be paying attention as this is expected to curve back off towards eventually the south and west here. That could affect interest in Bermuda. So again, interest in Bermuda certainly need to be paying pretty close attention to this, as this could get somewhere within the vicinity of Bermuda over the next coming days. And again, it should not remain fairly strong across these areas. This should only be about 50 or 60 miles per hour as a post-tropical system. If you take a look here at the GFS, and we'll just switch it to the 850 millibar vorticity here. Again, this is the spin about 5,000 feet off the ground here. If we move it really out to about the next 36 hours, you do notice how eventually we get this trough kind of kicking in that is sending Arthur on out to sea here, not allowing it to come straight in or make landfall anywhere. But really you can see over the next coming days, really over the next 72 hours, that is expected to finally make more of a loop and could get pretty close to Bermuda. Again, Bermuda is this little island right out here, so interest in Bermuda certainly need to be paying attention, as some squally conditions and heavy rainfall could certainly be possible in some of the outer bands in this thing. And the European is much on the same trend. Again, this could be getting close to Bermuda, but shearing out really across this time and becoming part of a frontal boundary. So again, this is not expected to bring overall significant impacts, but heavy rain is certainly still possible over the next couple of days. And certainly more than heavy rainfall is going to be setting up across portions of the Carolinas and the Midwestern, or not the Midwestern, but the Mid-Atlantic states over the next few days as we get this trough kind of kicking in, and that's going to set up another round of very heavy rainfall across those areas. And certainly already getting some pretty heavy rainfall from Tropical Storm Arthur at this point. Taking a real quick look just at the lower 48, whether there is some tropical or non-tropical activity rather going on across portions of the Florida coast today, and we'll let that pull up. You can actually see some winds there gusting to about 48 miles per hour there at actually right near Tampa, and another one that's coming from the Tampa Air Force is coming from about 47 miles per hour. So there's certainly some squally conditions going on there with thunderstorms that are approaching that area. So certainly something to kind of keep in mind here if you're traveling really along any of those areas. Again, right now the main takeaway with Tropical Storm Arthur, though, is Arthur is strengthening, but will begin to pull away from the coastline today and tonight. Tropical storm conditions remain possible for portions of North Carolina Outer Banks, along with some pretty heavy rain and these squally conditions with the outer rain bands of Arthur. Again, stay tuned to the latest forecast and latest updates from the National Hurricane Center, and I will have another update later this afternoon.